All right. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Caroline Forrest, and I'm gonna be, okay, I see more people joining in, so that's good. Let's maybe give it an additional minute just to make sure everybody has the time to join. It's good to see you all. I recognize some names, so pleased to see everyone joining us today for this webinar. All right. Okay, so without further ado, welcome everyone to this first webinar of a two-part series on the topic of digitization in the poultry industry. The offer of digital solution for poultry production has exploded in the last 4 years, and I'm sure you've noticed it. It's never been so rich and diversified. The sad part is that when there is new and disrupting technology emerging, it can be easy for people to be afraid, and usually adoption is quite low. And it's a little bit normal to see this. So while most companies plan to integrate some digital solution in their operations in the near future, many of them are feeling a little bit overwhelmed and when deciding where to start. It's a big decision, and no one wants to make a mistake. So I'm joined today by Casper Tribler, who has an impressive experience acquired in tech-driven startups and large organization in telecommunication and agriculture industries in Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. And he's had the chance of leading such digital transformation like the one we're seeing for poultry industry. And I hope that his insight will be able to help guide you. So just a little bit of housekeeping maybe. There is a place for you in the Q&A where you can ask questions, and Casper will be happy to answer your questions as we go and as time allows as well. So without further ado, Casper, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Caroline. It's great that we have this opportunity to talk about an important topic like this for our industry. And yes, please raise questions throughout the webinar. So I'm more than happy to address any questions as we go along. That would be great.
Excellent. So why don't we start with what you see as the biggest challenges to technology adoption, and how can organization work to lessen the risk that they perceive with this adoption?
Yeah, there is definitely several challenges that we face in our industry today, which if you look to other industries like telecom, where I come from, spent 20 years there, but also others like media, finance, or insurance industries, they have faced the same challenges that we have. And you can say to a certain extent they have adapted to it at this stage. So some of these challenges, they can definitely be overcome. So these industries have proven that it can be done. So there's no reason why we in the agriculture industry shouldn't be able to do the same. And I also think since I joined this industry only 6 years ago, I've witnessed that the adoption rate of new technology is definitely increasing. So I think we're seeing a change to how the industry is welcoming new opportunities when it comes to technology. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But definitely, I mean, there are several challenges, but I think I'll just dig into a few of them here. And one of the main ones, I think, that is related to what we face is the willingness to pay for technology. Willingness to pay is not so much a question about the willingness to adopt new technology. It's more a question about how much are we willing to pay for it. And the reason why I think willingness to pay in our industry still today is relatively low compared to other industries is that we still see a rather high risk associated with investing into new technology. This risk comes from different things. One I would say is lack of maybe general understanding and maybe also unrealistic expectations to new technology. I mean, we have all been told and that data is very valuable. Farmers and growers have been told that for many years, and it's true, it is valuable. But as a reason, of course, then growers are expected to get paid for it or have a high return when they do technology adoption. But the truth is that data is only truly valuable if it's transformed into some sort of actual insights that we can use to create additional value to the user. And that's brings me to another part when it comes to willingness to pay, is that I still think what I see in the industry is there is a lack of concrete business cases, I would say, with reliable and strong return of investments that the clients can relate to when they're investing into technology. So again, we have so much data, and we almost, like you can say, we're swimming in data and data that is stored without purpose, and maybe not also in not necessarily very good quality. So it's difficult to work with. I think you see it as our responsibility as solution providers, together with customers, to implement solutions that are basically based on business cases that justify this investment and thereby increase the willingness to pay.
Definitely. Making something out of the data collected is really one of the biggest challenge right now. What about resistance to change? Isn't it also something that the industry is facing?
I think so, very much, and I think it's probably also part of our human nature. But yes, there is definitely a challenge to. I think we're naturally wired not to accept change, or we're resistant to change. And if you look at, you see, particularly if we used to traditional ways of doing things, and you can argue that's what the agriculture industry has been about for many years. We're an old, proud, hardworking industry where you can say that we in the history maybe have been able to grow the business based on organic growth and work in traditional ways, and now suddenly with I think that in itself has probably meant that for some time that there has been some resistance to adopting technology. But I also think we're seeing a shift now. When you're looking into what's happening in the world, it's definitely not as stable as we were used to just some decades ago. But of course, we have inflation, higher feed prices due to continuing wars, but also the logistical challenges, maybe also a sort of outcome from COVID. And now we have also to deal with climate change. It's maybe we can't, not everywhere in the world we can see the effect of it right now, but it's definitely a risk, and we have to deal with it. And I think that's part of some of the forces that we are seeing in the market that are pushing and removing technology barriers and break them down in our industry. So because there is basically a need for us to find ways to stay competitive, but also adapt to new market conditions.
Absolutely. And I mean, when it comes to disruption in the last, I'm going to say 2 years, our industry has probably seen its fair share of disruption, and it's probably been worse than whatever digitization can bring. So that's certainly something to consider. I would like you to talk to us about digital readiness, because it is something that I have heard a lot. Many people will come to us and say, well, we would love to do something like this, but I don't think our staff is ready for it. So Have you seen that in other industries as well?
I've definitely seen it also in the telecom industry. That is one of the most digitized compared out from a McKinsey study. I mean, often I found myself coming with a very advanced solution and competing against Excel. And so I think it's not something that is unique to us, but it's something we really have to understand the dynamics of it. And for digital readiness, it means that the company have to basically work with their digital skills. It's a mindset, you can say, maybe that their culture, and of course something like their infrastructure. And obviously they need to have a digital strategy to prepare themselves for adopting new technology. So digital readiness is definitely critical. And as just an example, and that's also where we have to be realistic as solution providers when we talk to customers, right? So there are simply some solutions that are not possible to do if we cannot get access to the right type of data at the right time and in the right volume. So that itself can be a natural barrier to what kind of solutions that you can actually implement. And digital readiness means that, of course, something from the customer side that they have to prepare themselves, but also from the solution provider side that we have to be adopt more design thinking and think from the customer's point of view, what makes sense to the customer at this very moment. So you match the type of technology projects that can actually be implemented with a certain success level based on the digital readiness of the customer. So the customers have to invest in those digital skills, the mindset, the infrastructure, make sure they have a digital strategy. And by doing that, they can push for more adoption of technology, but also be more ambitious and look into more complex technology solutions in the future.
Mm-hmm. And I like the idea that you bring of investing in this, and it certainly I think needs to be considered as a work in progress. It's not like a finite thing where you're going to be totally ready to face whatever is coming. It's going to be transforming the industry for years to come. So it's certainly something to consider as well. We have new people that join us in the last couple of minutes. So for those people, I do want to repeat that you can just go into the chat or the Q&A and ask questions if there's anything you'd like to chime in, even if it's just a comment. We would love to read you guys. So let's dive into the heart of the subject. How can we overcome these challenges? What can organizations do to try to prevent, the pitfalls that can be assigned to digital projects? I mean, everybody has seen that McKinsey statistics that says that 70% of all digital initiatives will fail in the first year, and that's certainly not something that is going to increase the level of confidence of organization as they embark on this. So what have you seen since you've been in industry that have done that transformation? What have you seen that can help overcome those challenges?
Well, some of them we'll talk about today, and I think that the most important one for overcoming challenges of technology adoption starts one place, and it starts basically one place only, and that is in the management level. And that's also what most studies shows, that the management must have a high level of what we call digital leadership, so they can drive the technology adoption in both vertical and horizontal in the organization. So you can say that for the management team, they have to basically also challenge themselves, and they have to fundamentally also transform their own leadership style. Times have changed in many ways, and of course, technology is part of this. But if we look at leadership today and in the future, it's more about the challenges that leaders are facing than actually the theory of being a good leader. And just look at what's going on in the world today. We are constantly faced with having to adapt and take new decisions, and that's basically requires that a digital leader today is not only mastering the strategic view that we historically have focused a lot on when you are in the management team, but you also have to have the skills to look at innovation and technology in an organization at the same time to address technology adoption.
So essentially, if I'm a leader in my organization, I need to become somewhat of a digital leader in essence, and in that position, in that role as digital leader, what would be the main areas you would recommend to address first?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit like in the airplane, and if you have to take the oxygen for yourself first. So let's just say, for the sake of this argument, that the management team have educated themselves to get acquainted with digital leadership. Then part of that role they will implement in their organization is to build also a digital fluent workforce, because also what we know from studies is that successful projects, it is started from the management level, but it has to have the buy-in, of course, from the whole organization. Yeah. So we're talking about the promote digital competences across the workforce, and I think also we start to see this in our industry, that you see more different types of digital roles emerge in live production, and you also see that more and more trust and is giving to key employees to take decisions when it comes to leading the selection and integration of new technology adoption, new digital tools in the company. So that is really that's great to see. It's definitely a sign that that the industry is moving towards more technology adoption. But then also as a digital leader, you have to embrace also a willingness to innovate, because so basically it's when you move into, of course, adopting technology, it comes with a certain kind of risk. So you have to prepare yourself mentally as well, and the organization have to prepare itself for this, accepting this kind of learning curve that comes with relying on new technology, and that also means that you have to embrace risk. You have to adopt a more fail fast, agile, and resilient approach to investing into new generation technologies. So you have to basically make digital innovation part of the company's DNA. And that's what it means to be a true digital leader as well. Go ahead.
I was going to say that it sounds like as a digital leader, you have almost the obligation to push and to lead the organization in that direction. But we were mentioning it earlier in the introduction, how we're seeing this offer of digital solution emerge, and it's unfortunately leading to a lot of data, but a lot of what I call data islands. So all of these data islands that are not connected to one another. So what can we do to prevent this in our industry?
Yeah, so there's definitely not easy to be a digital leader at these times, but it also, I mean, one way of helping yourself to promote adoption is to collaborate and increase your co-creation of solutions. So that basically helps break down silos and you share knowledge by increasing this kind of collaboration. Technology adoption concerns basically all parts of the organization as well as external partners. So throughout the production value chain. So that means that you have to promote collaboration and co-creation more than you probably have done before historically, but it also is actually a helping tool for the organization, because by opening up, sharing knowledge, and working with other parts of the industry that maybe are specialized in something that you're not, and you come together and you are stronger together, that also de-risks the innovation projects that you have. An example is McDonald's Smart Broiler project, but also other technology providers that are opening up with their platforms to customers and third parties to exchange data. So we'll even see that some of those platforms will have competitors collaborate to the benefit of the customer. That's what we saw in the telecom industry, and I think that's also what I start to see some small signs happening in our industry now.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and it's certainly a good indicator when you have an industry that starts collaborating like that. It's really, in the end, the producer that is benefiting from a higher value. We do have a question, and it's a very interesting one, so I wanted to look into it. So we have somebody who's asking, how would you respond to people afraid that AI-derived technologies are replacing farmers? That is certainly a concern that many people share in our industry.
I'll start by saying that I actually worked with with AI in a previous company, and we were trying to beat the farmer when it came to weight prediction, something that other companies also working on. And I learned very quickly to have deep respect for the farmer, because even when we took the best AI models we could bring, it was hard work to beat the farmer. And so AI has a lot of promise. I mean, we all hear about it, GPT, chat, and you can use that for so many things. I mean, a lot of things are happening in the AI space, but it will take time, and I think there will always be this human involvement needed to qualify whatever comes out of an AI. I said always, probably not, right? But it's gonna take time before you will see that AI will really dominate the production value chain. But I think I rather look at it as any other tool, just to help us basically solve some of the challenges we have in the industry, and so in the end that we can, get more out of our production, increase welfare, and lower CO2, do all the things that the other parts of the industry that requires us to do, and use AI for that to solve problems that we are not necessarily solving today. So just look at it as another tool. I'm no way concerned about it. I just see it as another opportunity to basically to benefit the industry.
Yeah, the fear of AI has certainly been sparked a little with everything about ChatGPT, but again, it's just going to help students get better grades, in my opinion, and we'll find ways around that. So that's certainly something. We still have 5 more minutes, so what about, maybe like a last word on things that, as a digital leader, people should be focused on, that you still want to alert us to?
I think one thing I want us to take away as well, and it's very, very important to remember that this is about, it's basically about focusing on what we call actual insights, not technology. It's about, I think what we all have to learn, and also as digital leaders, is not to be blindsided by new technology, we have to view technology as a tool and understand that what it needs to do is identify real problems, and at the same time we need people to help combined with technology to drive the adoption forward. So it's not so much about technology, it's actually much more about people. And it will, I think, stay like that for a long time. So my advice is, again, when we are part of a digital journey, and as we go along, you know, set up as many trials as you can, make them small, but try out different things in a controlled manner. So also your investments are can be split out on different types of opportunities. Focus on solutions that are solving well-defined problems, and you can already from the beginning see easy to implement and maintain. I always said that it's AI is a good example. You can make, you know, AI rather complex to work. But when I've looked at the teams that I've worked with and said, hey, we solved this problem with 22 data points, and said that's great, but in the real world, maybe you are lucky if you get 4. So let's do something that works with 4 data points. So keep it simple and make sure it's something that can be maintained. And having technology in a barn house and a broiler farm is not necessarily that easy to have a long lifespan and maintain. So all these practical things has to be taken into consideration, I think, from the beginning. So keep it simple. It will help you increase your success rate, and then you can always opt in for the more advanced, ambitious technology solutions later.
That's it. You can always build on what you've already accomplished, but you need a first success. So go for the quick wins. Essentially, that's very good advice. I don't know if there are any other questions. If so, please chime in into the Q&A. Or raise your hand. I can also unmute and have people chime in if you're interested. I do want to highlight before we part that the second part of this webinar series is going to focus on real life scenarios, so real case examples of what digitization has been able to do for our industry, for customers. So there are several problems or issues, challenges, as we've discussed in poultry production, that can potentially be addressed by technology. So while we cannot cover all of them, we'll be sure to focus on a few examples of what has been done, so that we can demonstrate that it is doable to implement and have success with this type of technology. So that's it for now. So no more questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And we invite you to follow us on social media to be aware of the next date for the second part of this webinar. So thank you, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you for the second part. Thank you.
Thank you.